For years people talked about chalk and talk being the wrong way to go about teaching. So for me, lesson study is that process, and it's really effective way of teaching without being that chalk and talk teacher. It's something that's really important that you get your whole department involved. In my particular school, we were able to look at areas of common practice and maybe areas that we were falling down on and stuff. At the process of lesson study allowed us as a department to look at our whole practice and see areas where we could improve.
So what I've learned from and gained from lesson study, first and foremost, would be confidence in myself as a teacher, trying to teach differently and including all students in my class to be able to reach a potential and no one is left behind, that everyone's solution is of utmost importance and they get a chance to show this solution to the rest of the class and then are treated equally within the classroom.
I think mine, Niall's and Luke's are really I like because you're just rearranging the shape itself to make a bigger shape that's more familiar to you.
Learning from my colleagues, I have become a better maths teacher. I've used a lot of the lessons in classes, and that benefits both me professionally, but more importantly, my students.
The main reason I'd recommend this to other teachers to get involved is just the maths chat. The idea that you're actually talking about maths, what the stuff that's happening in your classroom. The idea of the problems that we all experience every day in our classes. The idea that we can now come up with a solution for them. And we feel confident and comfortable to actually do that and realise that we're all in the same boat. We all experience the same problems.
Basically, the biggest thing I've gotten from lesson study is that my role as a teacher is not the person to be at the top of the room barking instructions or writing on the board. It's basically about designing or creating the lesson that teaches the students. So it's not about giving them the Jamie Oliver school of teaching where you just give them step, 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 go. It's about creating this body of knowledge that they can spend so much time poking and prodding to arrive at an understanding.
Then I took this part and flipped it over, and that part would come in like that. So this side is where that side was, so that side would come over there.
When you're teaching a whole class through lesson study, all the kids are included in the class. They all have their say. They all reach their own potential. They reach their own level of understanding, and no child is left behind.
I think the collaboration is one of the big reasons that I would recommend other people to get involved. And those who do get involved develop a passion for the subject and they meet other people with a similar passion. And so, it reinvigorates me even after 30 years of teaching. Definitely, I would recommend that others get involved.
I'm sorry to say that even though we have a maths department in the school and we have meetings, it's very seldom we actually roll up our sleeves and work on maths problems together. And I particularly like the structure that's provided by the lesson study approach. Everything is, you're guided through it, and it also fulfills so many of the present needs for developing your key skills, knowing all the different statements of learning that the students need to reach and so on. So all of those are covered automatically without having to look at them separately. So particularly I've learned so much even from other teachers, and what they have to offer is amazing.
Yeah, I think lesson study is great. It's a great way to work with other teachers and to learn from them. That's personally what I found. Given that opportunity to delve deep into topics, and sometimes we think we know a way to solve a problem and we think it's the best way because it's our own way, and then it's only when you thrash it out with somebody else and it just gives you another alternative.
Well, I think it's a fantastic process, and I think one of the things as maths teachers that we're always struggling to do is differentiate between the really, really, really bright kid who's getting answers in 2 seconds to the really weak kid who's struggling to get any answers at all. The process of lesson study kind of inverts that and makes it so that everybody can be involved and everybody can achieve to a certain level. And that means that the atmosphere in the class and the attitudes that students have towards maths is improving.
I got 5 to 17.5 centimetres squared.
Wow, what do you think of that? Well done, Peter. Peter, that was so good. I don't even have a shape ready for that.
So it seems like it's a lot of work for just one lesson, but it's so much more than that. You have all of this extra content knowledge. You're expanding your ability to teach problem solving in general and how you approach classes, that you're not just teaching the sums from the textbook. You really want to teach them maths, and the textbook is used occasionally from time to time.
I've been teaching for 25 years, and to still get a buzz going into a classroom, watching my students perform and excelling in areas that they never felt they'd be able to achieve, there's no money would pay for that.
One of the biggest things I've gained is putting myself in the students' shoes and thinking through how they approach a problem, and maybe some of the misconceptions that they have that I haven't realized before, that I have a certain way of teaching a specific topic, and then coming to it from their point of view and realizing, oh, this is where the misunderstanding is coming from. And you get that through the discussions with the other teachers and building up that complex problem that can be approached in multiple ways. Yeah, it's been a really rewarding experience for me.
Our schedules are so hectic in schools as maths teachers, we don't get a chance often to sit and really discuss how we teach and what we teach and the way we teach it. So in terms of my own professional development and deepening my own subject content knowledge, this has been the best thing I've ever done.
I would say that I have changed my teaching in class completely, and my students have benefited tremendously from it.